Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dan here with Adventuring Today. Hope you're doing great. I'm doing one of my mile per gallon challenge videos, and we always start this at the same spot. So I've done this before on Super Duties and Expeditions, but I always reset the trip computer right here. So we've got it reset right now to 0. And today I'm in a 2018 Ford F150, and this vehicle is running the 2.7 liter EcoBoost motor with the 10-speed transmission. And I've got this on loaner today because my Super Duty is in the shop for some work on its latches. And so I thought, you know, while I got this truck for the day, maybe 2 days, go ahead and run it through its paces here on this this challenge. So the way I normally do this is trying to recreate a commute that somebody might have on the way to work, and trying to get a feel for what a vehicle does, mainly on highway driving. Now this part of this highway that I'm on is takes about 7 or 8 minutes to run this test, but it does have a very large hill in between the starting point and the ending point. It's probably about 600 feet high. So I set the cruise control to the speed limit, which is 65 miles per hour, and just try to keep it this nice steady speed the whole way. So now we're going to get an interesting feel for what this engine and transmission do as we go up this hill. A lot of trucks that are in the same category, most trucks don't have 10-speed transmissions, and Ford has probably been the most prolific car manufacturer in using turbo motors in their pickup trucks. They were such an early adopter to that proven technology to increase miles per gallon. My Expedition has a 3.5 liter EcoBoost with the 10-speed, and when I ran this test on that truck, we ended up getting a downshift once we got to the steep part of the hill down to 8th gear. Now, of course, the engine and transmission work together to produce efficient performance and mile per gallon numbers, and so under a certain amount of load, the engine will add in more turbo boost, but once it deems it's more efficient to downshift a gear, it'll do that to 9th or 8th gear, maybe even 7th gear, in order to consume less fuel but still maintain speed. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what this slightly smaller engine does, the 2.7, in a vehicle that, you know, is quite a bit different than the Expedition in obviously a lot of ways, but it's lighter weight than the Expedition. It's less fuel efficient than the Expedition because of the open bed in the back, but using very similar transmissions, and again, slightly smaller engine in the F150 and a slightly bigger engine with the Expedition. So anyway, we're coming here to our first hill. This is probably about a 2% grade, and now we did downshift to 8th gear on this one, so I'm guessing that we're definitely going to get another downshift to 8th gear when we get to the steeper part of the hill, which is it's right between about a 5 and a 6 degree grade, which is quite a bit. My Super Duty does not downshift on this hill. It's, you know, it's a diesel. It's got so much torque, and it only has a 6-speed transmission, so it's less prone to shifting anyway. But anyway, we're starting up the hill. We're down in 9th gear right now. Let's see if it holds this. Right now it is. So far, we're maintaining our speed at 65 miles per hour, and it's holding on to 9th gear, which is great. A little bit better than what the Expedition did. So this is pretty interesting. Right here at the peak of the hill, which is about halfway through this experiment, and the vehicle is averaging 17 miles to the gallon. 17 miles to the gallon. So we got a long downhill here. This vehicle is rated at 19 miles per gallon in the city, and then it's rated 24 on the highway. Now, what I found is typically doing these tests, that vehicles will get at or slightly higher than their highway mile per gallon number. Just the nature of the roads that I'm on. Try to do this during times of the day where I'm not having to hit the brake and slower speed up, so just trying to be as efficient as possible, and hopefully this will continue here for the next couple miles until this test is done. But as we're coming down the hill, I feel like this vehicle is doing really well. Surprisingly fuel efficient for the capability in a vehicle like this. Now this is an XLT with the 2.7 liter motor. So if you're looking to buy an F-150 and looking to max out your trailer towing or payload capacities, you know, this is probably the vehicle that you're going to look for, because the engine is lightweight and there's not a lot of extra options inside this vehicle. I know on the Super Duty side, the most popular model lineup is the Lariat, and the second most popular is the XLT. I'm guessing those numbers are probably pretty similar in the F-150 world. So this is a very popular trim level inside this vehicle. I mean, we've got everything that you possibly would need, especially if you're doing work with your truck. We've got a really nice gauge cluster with the 4 core gauges, which includes transmission temperature, which is important if you're towing. We've got a nice display here in the middle where you can hook up Bluetooth phones. You've got parking enhancements, you've got a rear camera, and you've got a really nice, incredibly effective heating and air conditioning system. I drove one of these trucks over the summer in about 100-degree heat and just absolutely blown away with how effective the air conditioning was. Today it's only 25 degrees here in St. Louis, and this heater is just blasting heat out. It is a pretty warm environment, wouldn't you say, boys? Got my co-pilots with me today. They're being good and being quiet while I record this video. So now we're coming into the very tail end of this video. So far we're at 21.8 miles per gallon, and I always click off the cruise control right as we start to make the exit off the highway, which is coming up here in just a few more feet, and we'll be able to merge over to the right, and it'll get us a good rating at the end. So on the flat, this thing says it's averaging about 25 miles per gallon, is where we are right now. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of draft off of that semi-truck, who knows. But the instant right here is around 24, which is what the highway number is. This is where the highway changes from concrete to blacktop, which is where I hit the brake, and now I just do a nice easy slow down here into the stoplight, and we'll have our number. So I guessed 24, my 11-year-old guessed 20, and we are smack dab in the middle of that number at 22.5. So you were going to say 22.5?
I was actually going to say 22.5.
All right. Well, you would have got it right. That would have been awesome. All right, guys. So, you know, 22.5 isn't too bad for a vehicle like this. It's a little bit under its rating from the manufacturer, which is a little bit disappointing. But again, you know, it's 25 degrees out. Maybe the truck wasn't fully warmed up. Who knows? I do know this. This is a great vehicle, very capable. It's got a huge back seat. I mean, let's take a look at this real quick here as we're pulling up to this stoplight. But look at the legroom this kid has. Stick your leg out all the way, bud. All the way. That kid's pretty tall. He's about a 5-footer back there. And anyway, guys, so that's it. That's our test for the day. 22.5 miles per gallon on this challenge. Not too bad for the 2018 Ford F150 2.7 liter with the 10-speed transmission. Ford once again puts together a great product, and these trucks are ready to do some work for you, but also be highly efficient while they're doing it. All right, guys, thanks again. Thanks for tuning in the channel. Please be sure to share this video with your friends and neighbors. Click on that bell and be sure to subscribe. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.